Okay, welcome back. So, yeah, so the way this works is that if you have a white square in an infinite grid, you can surround it by 4 black squares. And if you have, like 3 white squares, you can surround them with, 7 black squares like so. That's what the picture in the problem had. And the problem is, if you have a given number of black squares, how many white squares can you enclose with them? Okay, so So I almost feel like the black square thing, it doesn't matter that much. I feel like it's just a perimeter situation, right? So certainly, so when you enclose a bunch of white squares, well, no, that's not quite true. You can actually. I actually don't know what the answer is. So, like, for example, like, there's this. If you have the number of black squares is a multiple of 4, you can do this thing where, you know, you enclose a n by n square. I don't even know if that's actually optimal. I mean, so there's these 4 corners that are. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I feel like, so if that's optimal for, then like if you're off by a little bit, like if you have 1 fewer black square, like you can always like make a dent, like in this example here. So you can like decrease, well, eight can get 5 white squares. Yeah. Oh, 5 is actually better than. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was looking at this being like. So for n equals 8, it's actually 5. The idea is to do a plus shape. Interesting. Notably, you can assume it's a path. Pick's theorem. Oh gosh. So actually, even like for n equals 7, the example I gave is not optimal. Because if I move this red square in by 1, I can get 4 with 7. Um, yeah, I can actually get enclosed 4 things with 7 black cells. If I had 6, I probably... It is probably actually 2. Um, represent the path with up, down, left, right. Wait, I actually can't even tell what the answer like should be. Like what is the correct way to generalize the plus shape? Do you draw like... I mean, you can do this, I guess, where and then this will have, yeah, so I feel like it's not quite, I feel like it's like a tilted square, right? Because the thing is, the tilted square like hugs most of the black cells have like double perimeter or something. Like 2 cells of the black hit the white border. How do you get 4 with 7? You do this, I think. Wait, sorry, I'm stupid. Ignore what I said about 4 with 7. Sorry, that was just wrong. And thank you, G Baker, for the follow. Crap, but yeah, so with 4 getting a k squared plus k minus 1 squared, that feels pretty good. I would be surprised if you can do like way better than that. Well, I'd be surprised if you can do better at all. But I'm not super confident in that. How do you get? Yeah, it probably is the tilted square, but I don't know how you prove it. Hmm. Oh God, local, the worst. Yeah. 8 sides, each at multiples of 45 degrees. Okay, I see what you mean about the oh, this is gonna be really weird. Yeah, I think you're right about the 2 domino thing. So the idea is that if we have two things that look like this somewhere, and then we have this shape, then what I can do is I can take like any cut that looks like this or something, and then I can like take this whole blob and then shift it over by 1 cell. Also here I can like shift, if there's 3 in a row you can also just shift. But also like in this situation when you have 2 things that look like this, you can... Well, okay, it's a little ill to... Like if I have something like... If I have something like this, can I still do the shifting argument if they're in the same column? Yeah, it's still fine. I make a cut like that, and then I shift everything. Okay. Oh god. This is gonna... Oh, yeah, actually just shift the whole... Yeah, okay, that's true. I don't need to cut. I can just take this blob and shift it. Move it. Sides multiples of 45 degrees. You do more moves and you should be done. Amazing. I think we have at most like... Well, I think this argument shows at most like 6 sides. Help. So I think what you are trying to tell me is that when you do these local optimizations, it's so constrained that you end up with literally like... You either have a shape that's actually just something like this, and every time it's not convex, you can flip it and increase the area. And so the only case you have to worry about, and the dominoes come in pairs because if there's, for parity reasons, so there's like one other case where it's like do, and then I don't know, man, like more shit. Like this case. This is the only other case. And you can assume it's convex because when it's not convex, you can flip it. So you actually only have a diamond shape and like a diamond with two things sticking out of it. Oh god, I actually really don't want to work through all that. If I actually take the time to work through this argument to make sure it's correct, we're not going to get to the Korea problem, like for sure. So, but this shows that the plus shape should be optimal now because this gives us. Wait, I feel like I'm a little confused about how. Like we got cases mod 4, right? But I think the oh, I see. It's like a tilted rectangle that's off by. Oh, okay, fine. Are you sure flipping works? No. This is why I don't want to work out the details. Is it possible to have a corner cell taken out of one corner? I don't follow. Like, I'm trying to claim that the red contour that I'm drawing, has to be convex. That's what the flipping is trying to do. This is Brazil Junior 2015-6. Sorry, I think I should put the source up. Or, not 20. What year is it? 2019-5. But see, we're not even given that the black squares form a curve. Like, a black squares could be like an H shape, right? And that would be really inefficient. But you do have to actually be like, you know, like, you do have to smooth that out too, right? Like, if your initial thing is like, oh god. But they do form a curve. No, they don't have to form a curve because you're not given that it's a curve. Like it. Like, here. Like, here's a very bad construction with 7 things that encloses 2 white cells, right? Like this infinity shape. And so you need to, like... I don't know, you need to do something about this. Because there's no obvious way to change just one cell and, you know, make it better. And that's a problem. Like, this is actually... Even though this is terrible, it's not obviously... It's not locally terrible, it's just globally terrible. So your global arguments will be super annoying. Like, I think the best you can do, consider the lowest highest black in each column. And the rightmost black. Move them outward. I don't see, because the problem is like when you try to smooth this construction, right? Like, can this be generalized? I don't know. Maybe, but it's just annoying. Like, this is the problem with local. Is like, it's so easy to screw up with your conditions. Thank you, OCAIP, for the follow. Yeah, I mean, this is an example of a self-intersecting curve, right? Like, the curve you get, if you look at the adjacency graph, looks like this. And so, like, what you want to say is, I want to, like, kill this square and then weld them together. But, like, I don't know, like, how do you get this in general? Like, Like if you try to do the thing where you consider leftmost and rightmost, you need an extra red cell. You cannot just. I don't know. You guys might just all be more optimistic. I just look at this and I'm like, I'm not confident that this works until I like sit down for like another 20 minutes. It's like you're not even given that it's a curve, so it's just like that. Like I agree, if it's a convex curve, then we should be okay, because I think the domino argument works fine. That there's only at most 2 dominoes, and then like you control the shape really well in that case, because it's actually just a tilted rectangle or tilted square. But I think getting to convex seems like, of course the desired things are convex, but checking this. This is a combination of curves with one oh god. So you want to, oh god. Okay. Let me think this through. Shit. Good. Now even the problem is like now you have to. Here's this shape, all right. Like this is actually an optimal construction for 6 that encloses 2 cells, and like if you look at the curve, quote unquote, if you look at just the adjacency graph, your curve is actually 2 squares. So you need to. Do you really have to get to convex? What do you mean? Do you really have to? Like yes, you have to. Like I agree, it's obviously true. I just don't know how to write down a proof. Just an innocent question from a freshman in maths. Are IMO problems still hard for PhDs? Yes. It's a different kind of hard, but yes. If you I think if you phrase the question as if you take a random person with a PhD in math and ask them to do the IMO, would they do well? The answer is no. Because in particular, they haven't learned what a cyclic quad is, probably. But even I think the combo would be difficult. I don't know, 4.5 hours is really short. Yeah, if you want a more nuanced answer, like there's places on my website where I talk about the difference between like university math and competition math. But I think even for people who are in the intersection, like the people who both did really well at math contests and then like did really great research, the problems are still hard for them. It's not like they just run over the IMO. What? No, it's one path if you know like how to define the path. But my point is that defining a path is not trivial, right? You cannot just say look at the adjacency graph, because the you get this thing. What is the issue here? Okay, well, merge the paths if needed. Wait, now I'm confused what you mean by path. Do you mean cycle? Consider 2 disjoint areas. Oh no. I'm really going to have fun writing this up. So, okay, the argument is we're going to consider the adjacency graph. If there is a point in the adjacency graph, okay, hang on. So the adjacency graph is a connected graph which has cycles. There's no. as a planar graph, the adjacency graph has to enclose the thing. So you must have cycles. The cycles might intersect. If you have a bridge, i.e. an edge that is in multiple cycles, cut it. Is that what you want? Cut all the bridges so that you obtain just a cyclic graph. That's always possible for a planar graph, right? So cut all the edges, or cut all the bridges, then you get a bunch of cycles that intersect only at single points. I think. Take the convex hull first. I mean, but the problem is, like, if you try to start by taking the convex hull, then, like, this shape is an issue, right? Take the boundary. Boundary might be okay. Yeah. I mean, taking the boundary is fine, but I think that's equivalent to the thing I said with bridges. Alright. Yeah, I agree that the non-convex shapes are idiotic. I just have to deal with them. Like just because it's obviously not the optimal construction doesn't mean you get to not rule them out. Like you just have to do the work. So I don't know. Like yeah, I think this is okay. So the idea is you take the adjacency graph, you cut all the bridges, and we don't care about the bridges. Or really, actually, you take the adjacency graph and you look at the outer face, I guess, like because it's planar. And then you cut the cycles, and then you might end up with something that has. You might end up with cycles that you have to end up with cycles that are merged at a point. I think those are the only cases that can happen. And I say I think because I mean, dude, help. Yeah, they are not hard to rule out. Yeah, but I think you should get cycles joined at vertices. I think is what it has to end up, and then those are obviously not good. Yeah, the joining is bad. I think if you account for joining the claim about play, let's see. It's always the problem with this kind of thing that I don't. Even after all these years, I feel like I don't trust the proofs I write down for stuff that feels like this. Because it's just like... It's so hard for me to know if I missed a case. Because the problem is like, you know, the joining can get worse, right? Like you can imagine you have like these 4 cells or something, and then like you have a cycle that looks like that, and then like a cycle that looks like that, and that, and like that. Or some garbage like this, right? And like You might have to use the I think if you use the concept of outer face, it's okay. But I'm trying to be careful and make sure I'm not missing anything. So you take, I think what you want to do is you take the adjacency graph, you look at, it's a planar graph, you look at the outer face, you look at only the edges that are attached to the outer face, and you say, I claim that that graph is almost too regular except for things that look like this. Like if you have a join, yeah, so you look at the outer face, and then if there's any part of that that is not too regular, it's like this join, and I think it's fine. But yeah, then you work on each of the components of that individually, and the joins are suboptimal, so if you can do it, okay. Then you do smoothing again to make it convex, and then you do smoothing again to you do smoothing again to force the domino thing, the trick that we said, and then after that you only have a few classes of shapes, which are like a tilted thing and a tilted thing with two. Yeah, I am doing cycles first. I'm just like trying to figure out the reduction to cycles, but I agree. Once it's a cycle, you can make it convex by doing reflection arguments, I think. Or actually, not even reflect, just like shortest path argument. Like you can. Yeah, yeah. If you have a non-convex bit, you just eat it. Yeah. You make it convex and it's fine, and then once it's convex, then you can do the domino argument to get rid of the dominoes, and now it's either once there's at most two dominoes, you're either in this case or this case, and then you manually compute the number of enclosed things in each of these cases, and then compare. That okay, and okay, that should work. I think that should work, and I really don't want to write it because I had to do like 6 steps. All right, I wanna. Yeah, this solution is like a short essay.